Live from WSLS, this is 10 News at 11, working for you.
Now at 11, a mother and son facing charges in connection with the death of a 12-year-old girl. We're working for you to learn more. Plus, the investigation in the Bath County plane crash continues. The process of hauling the wreckage away begins today. And a new study shining light on how screen time is affecting our kids. We'll break down some of the results. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for 10 News at 11. I'm John Carlin. Beginning tonight with a Lynchburg grand jury that has indicted the mother and brother of Malaysia Solomon after the 12-year-old was shot and killed in her home back in February of 2023. Tonight, 10 News reporter Connor Dietrich breaks down the charges and what we know so far in this case.
It's been more than a year since 12-year-old Malaysia Solomon was shot and killed in her home, and now her mom and brother are behind bars. If you recall back to the day of the incident, warrants showed the mom had posted a video of people dancing and singing around the home while waving guns just an hour before Malaysia was shot and killed. 10 News attended a vigil for Solomon where a lot of her friends and her family were there. Karita Winston, Malaysia's mom, is now being charged with child abuse or neglect causing serious injury, disregard for human life, and child endangerment. Malaysia's 16-year-old brother was 15 at the time of the incident. He's being charged with involuntary manslaughter. Both are being held without bond. The Lynchburg Commonwealth's Attorney Office says that this investigation is still ongoing, and if anybody has any information, they are asked to contact Lynchburg Police. In Lynchburg, Connor Dietrich, 10 News, working for you.
All right, turning now to your forecast. A nice end to a beautiful day today. I mean, it was just about perfect. It could have maybe been a couple degrees warmer, and that would have maybe made it like instead of a 9.2, a 9.5.
I still would give it about a 9.8.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean,
the day nailed the landing. It did, the triple sow cow.
Well, okay,
I thought it was great.
Well, the Russian judge disagrees.
Tomorrow's going to be very nice.
It's going to be nicer, isn't it? Tomorrow?
It's going to be a little warmer, so we've got that going for us, no doubt. Here's a look at the local view, and not much cloud cover around. Yes, we've had a couple of clouds throughout the day, a couple of clouds this evening, but man, it's still very nice outside, no matter how you slice it. Now, as far as Wednesday is concerned, we're starting out with temperatures in the 30s and 40s with highs in the lower 70s. Overall for us on Wednesday, we're still going to be mainly sunny. We're going to be dry. We're going to be warm, probably a little warmer tomorrow than where we got up to today. But believe it or not, Thursday is going to be the warmest day we have this week. With high pressure in control through Thursday, that means we're going to stay dry, okay? High pressure is our fair weather friend. It brings sinking air. When you have sinking air, you have pretty nice weather to enjoy. And it is indeed going to bring us some really warm temperatures here as we head throughout the rest of the work week. We will cool down a little bit this weekend. And believe it or not, by next week, we actually turn pretty cold again. So we're going to have two different weather makers we're watching. The first one impacts us on Friday. That Friday storm system will bring us the chance for some on and off scattered showers and even the threat for a few thunderstorms. We're dry then on Saturday. By Sunday, we're going to have the chance for some hit or miss showers here or there. So the storm system on Friday will probably be a little bit wetter than the one on Sunday, but the one on Sunday is going to be really the catalyst to pull in some cooler air. So temperatures this week will approach 80 in Southside on Thursday, but 1 week from today, temperatures may fail to get out of the 40s. John?
All right, thank you, Jeff. The investigation continues tonight into that plane crash in Bath County that killed 4 adults and a child over the weekend. Recovery crews arrived on the scene today, and 10 News reporter Kelly Marsh was there and now shares what she saw.
Atlanta Air Recovery arrived on site early today to start the process of getting what's left of the airplane. They're hoping to haul out the wreckage in the next couple days. Representatives from the manufacturer of the plane also flew in to assist with the investigation and gather their own information from the crash. The investigation has now gotten to the point where the recovery team will take their findings back to Georgia, where the investigation will continue.
Once we finish with this on-scene portion of the investigation, the aircraft will be recovered to a facility in the Atlanta, Georgia area, where we'll continue our investigation of the aircraft.
The NTSB is set to be here for a few more days, but even then, the final report on the crash won't be available until a year and a half. In Hot Springs, Kelly Marsh, 10 News, working for you.
And in the wake of this deadly plane crash, we're looking into the challenges of flying in the mountains in this area, especially with runways like Ingalls Field. If you look over my shoulder here in Hot Springs, where as you can see, the planes have to come in and land atop that massive plateau. And pilots tell us that's not easy. 10 News reporter Sydney Jacksheimer, in fact, spoke with an aviation expert about the difficulties that pilots face here in the area.
We want to ask you, what are some of the biggest challenges of flying in this area with the mountains and the valleys?
Mountainous terrain always does add a level of difficulty to flying. It presents different challenges with weather, winds.
Ingalls Field in Hot Springs, Virginia sits at 3,792 feet, over double the elevation of Roanoke Airport. While a unique feature, it does add another layer of challenges for pilots.
So it is the highest airport east of the Mississippi, which makes it really susceptible to the atmospheric conditions.
Conditions like wind. Sunday, there were 44-mile-per-hour wind gusts near Hot Springs at the time of the plane crash.
One of the biggest concerns that you have to have on a day like we had the other day is wind shear. And wind shear is when the wind on the front part of your wings can change rapidly. And so every knot of wind on these airplanes can lead to about a 200-foot landing difference.
Well, Sunday's plane crash is still under investigation. Kyle Falwell, owner of Bonaire Jet in Lynchburg, an aircraft management company, says they look at every accident as a lesson.
Anytime an accident or incident like this happens, to utilize it as a learning experience so that we can continue to improve the level of safety in aviation.
Reporting, I'm Sydney Jacksheimer, 10 News, working for you.
Well, of course, screens are everywhere. In fact, you're watching us on the screen right now. And while I hope you continue to do that, there is a new report from the Pew Research Center diving into how screen time affects us and especially our teenagers. 10 News reporter Amy Cochran breaks down the report and shares what parents think.
Screen time can have a big impact on your mental health, but there's some tools that most phones have that can help you out. So if you go into settings, you can scroll down to screen time, and then you can see exactly how much time you're spending on your phone and set limits on yourself. According to Pew Research Center's latest report, 72% of U.S. teens say they often or sometimes feel peaceful when they don't have their smartphone. 44% say it makes them feel anxious. Half of parents say they have looked through their teen's phone. Nearly half of teens, 46%, say their parent is at least sometimes distracted by their phone when they're trying to talk to them. Parents and grandparents say they do their best to limit how much time their kids spend with technology.
It's just everywhere, and even my youngest grandson, who's only 6 months old, if he sees a phone, he will actually reach for it just because he sees everybody on it and he's kind of drawn to that. So it's very concerning.
According to the report, about half of parents limit their teens' time on their phone, while the other half doesn't. In Roanoke, Amy Cochran, 10 News, working for you.
TikTok may soon be taken away. There is a push in Washington, D.C. to potentially get rid of the popular social media platform, and there is some bipartisan concern about that. Lawmakers in the House are gearing up for a floor vote tomorrow that could potentially prohibit the use of TikTok in the U.S. TikTok would have about 5 months to break away from ByteDance, its Chinese-linked parent company. TikTok is calling this bill an attack on users' free speech, and the ACLU says a ban would in fact violate Americans' First Amendment rights. Stay tuned.